everyone. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about body image because it's something that really dominated my life for a long time without really realising it, and it's something that so many of us obsess over. So I just wanted to kind of spend a few minutes just exploring that and actually what it is and what's really going on when we talk about body image. So I had to look up the definition of it, and online it says body image is a perception that a person has of their physical self and the thoughts and feelings that result from that perception. Now I really like that definition because it really hits the nail on the head, because it's those thoughts and feelings that kind of occur when we're looking at ourselves in the mirror, when we're kind of reflecting on how we look, how we feel, that really affect us. It's not the actual kind of reflection in the mirror that's causing the issues. It's the thoughts and the feelings that come after that are. So thinking back to when I had the eating disorder, for me, when I was looking at myself in the mirror, my thoughts sounded like, you're too fat, you're ugly, you're not good enough, you don't look like the popular girls at school, it just kind of goes on and on and on. And it was pretty constant and also not very nice. Like, can you imagine saying those things to a friend? And the feelings that I would then experience after that were sadness, disappointment, frustration, anger, envy of other people and what they look like. And so you can kind of really see how the kind of the combination of those unhelpful thoughts and then the feelings that come along afterwards, how they can really wreak havoc with how we see ourselves as a person, how we experience life. And that's really where we can kind of get ourselves into sticky situations, because on the back of all of that, we then create a story about how we aren't good enough, how we're not worthy, all those kind of things. And that's exactly what I experienced. And for me, my happiness and my self-worth were totally dependent on my self-image, my body image. And that's when kind of thinking just back to all the words that I was just using about how I saw myself and how I felt afterwards, that's a pretty kind of unhelpful position to be in when my, as I say, my happiness and self-worth were so tied up with how I saw myself and how I saw my physical self. And that's, I think, where we need to maybe just kind of take a bit of a step back and actually examine those stories that we're creating and that we become so dependent on. Because, I mean, we do it all the time. Like, we think, I'll be happy when I'm a size whatever it is. I'll feel successful when I can fit into this size jeans. I'll be content when I weigh this amount. And as soon as I experienced this when I had the eating disorder, that I'd get to my kind of target weight and the goalpost would then be moved, because we think we're aiming for this kind of holy grail of weight or size or image or whatever it is, and we get there and then it's so much further off in the distance, because that's not good enough, because that's not actually what's making us happy. It's like that kind of mirage in the desert that as you get closer and closer you realise that actually it wasn't ever there in the first place. And I think that's quite a nice comparison to make, because actually it's not those things that do make us happy. And it's again kind of separating out our self-worth from our physical appearance and our physical selves. And I think for me what I guess I'm not saying is that I'm not saying that we don't ever have to change our bodies, or I'm not saying that there are times when I think, oh yeah, I think I want to go to the gym and make myself stronger. Like, I'm not saying that you're not allowed to do that, but just be aware of when we're putting that pressure on those things to make us happy and make us feel worthy. So the difference now is that I don't go to the gym to make myself lose weight to get to a size whatever in order to feel okay and feel happy and feel worthy. I go to the gym now to make myself stronger and keep myself healthy. And there's that difference, that I'm not putting all this kind of emotional pressure on myself and on those things, because ultimately that's not where it comes from. So I think just, if there's kind of one takeaway from this, it would be that just kind of start to notice what thinking is going on when you're looking at yourself in the mirror. You're kind of reflecting on how you look or how you feel, and just ask the question of, am I putting pressure on myself for my body to look a certain way so that I will feel happy? Are you saying those things that I said earlier about, I'll be happy when I'm a smaller size, or I'm a lighter weight, or a heavier weight, or whatever it might be? Is my happiness and well-being dependent on those things? And I think once we start to notice that, we can start to question them. And that's where we can start to untangle what I've just talked about, untangle our body image from our self-worth and our happiness. And we can really start to see that actually they're not one and the same. Our body image doesn't equal happiness. So just have a think about that. I'd love to know what you think. Please leave some comments below, and also don't forget to hit subscribe. See you soon.